Hi, I'm Dr. May. I'm one of the founders of Aliveness, and we offer programs for conscious eating and intentional living. And I'm so proud of what we offer people because I was someone who definitely used to struggle with food. I was an overeater, overexerciser, and definitely struggled with the way I thought that my body looked. So making this video for you going into the holidays seems absolutely perfect because I remember some of the crazy habits that I would do going into the holidays. I think I had this mentality like if I just dieted in the weeks prior to the holidays, then I could eat whatever I want when I got into the holiday season. And of course, that was a recipe for disaster because not only would I restrict what I was eating and make myself really suffer, but then I'd get into the holidays and just completely overeat, sometimes binging to the point of just complete and utter discomfort. And so in this video, I want to offer some of my top tips for you. And these aren't going to be ordinary tips. It's not about, what you eat and follow this certain meal plan because we don't believe in that approach here at Aliveness. What we always want to teach you above all else is we want you to become the expert on yourself. And that requires you to start listening in and paying close, conscious attention to your body. So here's the first thing that I would say to you, especially given the story that I just shared. So the first tip is this. Do not go into the holidays with this deprivation dieting mentality, because as soon as we deprive ourselves of certain foods, it's a lot like trying to tell the mind not to think of a pink elephant. So when we say, don't think of it, don't think of it, don't think of it, of course, what we end up doing is we think so much of those foods and we start to obsess about those foods. It really brings it to the forefront. And the other danger in that deprivation is that by the time we actually get to the event or the timeline that we have said we were going to make it to, then by then we've been obsessing so much, we've been depriving so much that we overdo it. And we are definitely not listening to our bodies. We're not in tune with what our bodies really need. And it's those moments where we go above and beyond with the eating that we often feel the worst about. So the second tip that I want to talk with you about is kind of similar, but we really recommend that our participants and our clients follow a 3 meals and 2 snacks per day approach. So again, this is our best guide. We're not telling you exactly what to eat, but here's what we know, and science definitely backs this up, that approach is the approach that's going to start your day with your blood sugar as stable as possible, and it will help maintain your blood sugar. So why is that important? It's important because not only do we have greater energy in our physical bodies, but we also have clear energy in our mental body. And so what that means is that we're going to make the best decisions when our blood sugar is stable. That means that we're not going to be so hungry going into our lunch or so hungry going into our dinner that we're just going to eat whatever we can find. And so we will make the best decisions when we are nourishing and feeding our bodies regularly. Okay, so we've talked about not depriving and eating a variety of foods, and we've talked about how important that it is that you eat often throughout your day. Okay, so one of the other things that I want to talk about is we also want you to start paying attention to all of the signals that your body is offering you. So what I know is that the body is speaking to us all the time. In our program, we like to call this hearing the whispers. So in order to hear the whispers, we've got to be able to slow down. We've got to be able to take enough quiet time in our days to truly tune in to what the body is saying to us. So I don't know about you, but we are overstimulated with our phones and our laptops and our social media and also the demands in our lives. And so when we're so stimulated, we're often disconnected from the whispers, the messages that the body is giving. And the body has this really great built-in mechanism of hunger and fullness. And so if we're really listening, we'll start to hear that those messages are coming to us. Now, if we wait too long when we're really hungry, again, the blood sugar probably has crashed and we're ravenous, and that's when we don't make the best choices. And if we keep eating and we're not paying attention to our fullness, literally just the difference between 1 to 3 bites can have you go from feeling comfortable to feeling stuffed and just overly full, and like you really did a disservice to your body. Okay, so the last tip that I want to share is the importance of recognizing all the emotions that we bring into our relationship with food. So what's interesting, and we teach this here at Aliveness, is that our emotional signals can often feel like hunger signals. When we're really anxious, we might feel that jittery sensation. Or if we're feeling really sad, we might actually feel a heaviness or an emptiness in our bellies. And so we're all going to bring those emotions into our relationship with food. But if you can recognize what the emotional needs are versus the physical needs, then you actually have a chance of feeding these different types of hunger in your lives. Because if you're sad, food isn't going to fix that. It might actually comfort you in the moment, but then you might feel even worse about overeating or misusing food to try to feel better afterwards. So the last tip, again, is to be able to distinguish those emotional signals from those physical hunger signals, and to make sure that you're really feeding yourself what you're truly hungry for.